Chapter 4. Rituals and Pots. They rose silently from the basement. 7 figures stood in the central hall. Each wore a heavy robe of black velvet, with gold embroidery along the hem, their faces hidden by solid silver masks, without slits for the mouth. They held twisted bronze censers, from which poured thick, sweet smoke, with the scent of caraway and burnt wax. The Council of Elders of the Secret Society, the Octant 9 Syndicate. Arthur, came the muffled, mask-distorted voice of the central figure. High Inspector, we have been informed that you have brought impure blood and a child of anomaly into the family nest. We have come to perform the rite of purification of Concord. The robed figure swung the censer. Clouds of gray smoke spread across the ancient parquet floor, enveloping the legs of the antique chairs. A heavy, oppressive hum hung in the air. The remaining 6 cult members began singing the ancient hymn in unison. Arthur stepped forward, donning his usual mask of cold, aristocratic superiority. Inspector, the inspection was scheduled for Thursday. You're violating protocol. Ventilation, Nora interrupted. She jumped out from behind Arthur, holding a huge chrome colander and a stopwatch. Are you crazy? She barked, bounding toward the Supreme Inspector. Your incense has an excessive concentration of benzoparine. There's a child in here. We have a 300-meter hall, and you're burning your surrogate without forced ventilation. The inspector froze. The ritual hymn stumbled and choked mid-sentence. Woman, the cultist said majestically, trying to restore the sacredness of the moment. This is the ancient ritual of loyalty. You must kneel before. I'm going to kneel for you now. Nora snatched the bronze censer from his hands, shamelessly smashed it on the parquet floor, right in front of the inspector's nose, and disgustedly tossed it into the corner. Everyone, follow me quickly to the kitchen. At least the ventilation hood works there. 10 minutes later, the Grand Masters, accustomed to deciding the fates of international corporations and ordering the elimination of undesirables, sat in a row on the oak bench in the mansion's vast kitchen. The removed silver masks stood neatly on the cutting table. Each cultist held an enamel bowl in front of them and a regular kitchen knife in their hands. Peel the skins thinly, Nora instructed them sternly, walking down the line in her rubber boots. We need to feed the child proper starch, not your toxic flavorings. Whoever ruins the peephole will have to clean the hood. Arthur stood in the doorway, leaning against the frame. For the first time in 10 years, his shoulders slumped. He watched Europe's most powerful banker, with greasy hair and protruding ears, clumsily trying to peel a potato, when suddenly a sound burst from his chest, a quiet, unfamiliar, dry cackle. Arthur Sterling laughed. He laughed quietly, but sincerely, feeling the invisible icy shell he'd worn since childhood crack. He looked at Nora. She was wiping her forehead with a towel, disheveled, angry, absolutely alive among these mannequins. Mark quietly entered the corner of the kitchen. He approached the High Inspector, who was dejectedly picking at his potatoes, and touched the hem of his black robe. The inspector winced and looked down at the boy. And when you die, Mark asked calmly, will your mask be given to another man or buried with you? The old cultist dropped the knife right into the bowl. Arthur, Nora whispered, stepping close to him, the scent of freshly peeled potatoes wafting over him. They're absolute idiots. How did you live with them all these years? It's called tradition, Nora, he replied quietly, for the first time allowing himself not to pull away, but rather to lean slightly toward her. But they're clearly better with potatoes than with rituals. Nora gave him a long look. Her fingers accidentally brushed against his wrist, where his pulse beat. Neither of them pulled away. Your son asks too many questions, she whispered, her eyes never leaving his. Are you ready to hear the answers?